Generation Y, or the millennials, my generation, those of us who are coming of age in this fast and frantic world, are a misunderstood generation. We are the generation, why can't you do that? Generation, why are you so lazy? Generation, why can't you focus? Generation, why are you so obsessed with yourself? Generation, why are you so entitled? Grown-ups of every generation know that growing up is hard to do. And I know from my own experience that growing up alongside my generation is FYI, TBH, IMO, ILI, FBO, hashtag trending towards the impossible because of what technology has done to the way we communicate and interact with each other. I would like the adults out there and my fellow millennials to understand simply this. The problems that teenagers face are real, and these problems are actually keeping us up at night. Just last week, a study by Columbia University School of Public Health was published in the Journal of American Academy of Pediatrics. Recently, researchers examined 270,000 adolescents over the last 20 years and concluded that teens are increasingly sleep deprived, getting fewer than 7 hours of sleep, sometimes less. What's keeping them up at night? Well, it seems that the greatest decline in the number of hours of sleep came during the periods between 1991 and 1995, and 1996 and 2000. You can either blame America Online or Bill Clinton for keeping us up at night. But I would argue that it's the worries on their mind. The idea of fitting in, the self-image problems, the Twitter sphere, the angst that comes with puberty have kept us all awake. Obviously, not getting enough sleep only exacerbates the problems we teenagers are already facing. Lack of sleep leads to poor academic performance, leads to higher anxiety and stress, and leads to poorer social interactions. So turn off that phone, put down that game controller, log out, and disconnect, and make your parents happy and go to sleep. But make yourself happy too and go to bed. Unfortunately, according to Psychology Today, high school students and college students are 5 to 8 times as likely to suffer from symptoms of depression as are teenagers who are part of the baby boom or Generation X. The CDC also published a recent survey of high school students that revealed a staggering 16% who've considered suicide, 13% actually creating a plan, and 8% who reported that they tried to take their own life within the past year. But it's not just all gloom and doom for my generation. There's some good news about and positive trends among teenagers. Smoking tobacco rates among high school students is the lowest it's been in 22 years according to the CDC. Dropout rates have gone down, graduation rates have gone up, and juvenile detention went down significantly the past decade. Teen pregnancies, teen births, and teen abortions are at historic lows. Data from a 2013 study show that teenagers ages 16 and 19 are more likely than any other age group under the age of 35 to have volunteered in the past year. And the best part, teenagers are less likely to die because we're more responsible by wearing our seatbelts and not driving under the influence, and because use of illicit drugs has gone down a lot in recent years. With those numbers, we're definitely much more put together than the previous generations. So I wonder why my generation gets such a bad rap. More good news. In a study concluded by IBM, which was published just last week, some of the common stereotypes that malign our generation were actually debunked. We're not actually so entitled simply because everyone got a trophy for showing up. We actually can take criticism without getting hurt and taking it personally, and we're not bad workers either. We're willing to work for fair bosses and willing to work hard to move up the career ladder. I have to admit, I have the luxury of speaking to you from a safe school and from the lap of privilege. Everything has been given to me. I have a comfortable life, and my struggles aren't as dire as many others out there. So I probably have no reason to complain, and some out there may question how I could have the opportunity to speak about life. But to whom much is given, much is expected. I don't take the privilege I have for granted. I would encourage my fellow classmates and any other teens out there who are more fortunate than others not to lose sight of the fact that there are those who have bigger struggles. But I would also argue that it wouldn't be fair to dismiss my own struggles as trivial either. Because regardless of where we come from, and regardless of who we are and what we've been exposed to, each of us as teenagers are on the same learning curve to cope with whatever comes our way. I have the same spectrums of emotion that others have out there. Disappointment to me feels the same as disappointment to you, and even what's disappointing to both of us is different. I want to close with an anecdote. It's about the moment when I realized I'm not immune to the problems out there, that the things I hear about in the movies and on the news, those problems can hit home too. Recently, one of my old teammates took her own life. With 3 sisters and 2 loving parents, no one saw this coming. Athletic, pretty, outgoing, popular, this was really unexpected. People tend to think a stable home environment generally produces a stable and happy person, but this obviously was not the case. Just like different things can be the same amount of disappointing to 2 different people, the same is true for happiness, sadness, excitement, and all the other emotions we have as human beings. To the adults out there who readily dismiss my generation, it's important to remember the problems that teenagers are real. Thank you.